Should you be training your abs if you want a six pack? What's going on, guys? It is Tyson Brown here, and today I want to be sharing with you some tips about when it comes to getting a six pack. Because a lot of people have asked me, hey, you've talked about abs are only made in the kitchen, and so does that mean that I don't need to be training my abs at all then? Am I wasting my time? And the answer is no, you should still definitely be training your abs. But what people don't realize is that we train them when we're doing other movements in the gym too. When you're doing big heavy squats, when you're doing deadlifts, when you're doing all those loaded carries and movements, you're actually working your abs, and people don't realize that. We always just think about, because we want to feel the burn, we always think about, oh, I've got to do like direct ab training, like leg raises and V-sits and knee tucks and all those things. And they're actually pretty good for isolation work. But in order for you to get the best results, you want to need to make sure that you're focusing on the big heavy movements, because you're going to be able to load the body more, and it's not just going to work on your six pack, it's going to work on your obliques, it's going to work on your lower back, it's going to work on everything else that helps you work together. Because you can have a good looking six pack, right? But if you don't have the capacity to be able to hold yourself up properly, to be able to use heavy weights, well then you're not going to have a functional body, which is what you want at the end of the day. Six packs is just one aspect of it. You've still got to be able to move well without pain. You've still got to be able to use heavy weights over time. And to do that, it's practicing more of those movements. So doing things like I said, squats, deadlifts, chin-ups, bent over rows, military press. A lot of your work should be standing up, because that's what you're doing most of the day, right? We don't ever sit down and just try and crunch up. And that's why it's so important. We want to replicate, we do movements in during the day to get stronger. So if you can overhead press a movement, which is pushing a heavy bar over your head, what about when you have to put something over in a, like let's say you have to put a heavy box on top of the shelf? You can do that a lot more safer and have a stronger six pack overall if you actually use heavy weights to push overhead, right? Same thing if you're gonna pick up something heavy off the ground. If you just want to have the looks of a six pack, well then doing direct ab training and having the right type of diet, because diet is the #1 key factor, is going to be the main point. But if you actually want functional abs that are going to give you the best results possible, not just look good, but you're actually going to be able to perform in everyday life, then you want to make sure you're doing these full body compound movements. You want to make sure that you're doing the training as well as the nutrition too. Because at the end of the day, you can do all this stuff. You can do direct ab training, you can do over the compound movements like I'm telling you to do, but if your diet is not in check, then you're not going to see the results you're after, because it all comes down to body fat. Everyone's going to be able to see their six pack, but it depends on the amount of body fat. Some people are going to be able to see their six pack when they're 12%. Some people are going to be able to see their six pack when they're 10%. Some people are just had that body type where they have to drop extremely low in order to see it. And it's going to vary depending on the type of person. But you shouldn't just be depending on the six pack alone. You should be depending on making sure it's functional. Now let's talk about like ab exercises. That's what you guys want to know about, right? You want to know about the most beneficial ab exercises. So the one thing I always recommend is planks. Planks are a great exercise to develop not just your ab strength, but also your obliques too, because it utilizes it all together. Another one I like is the pull-off press. Now the pull-off press is what you're going to be able to see me doing another, like I'm going to do a video over here of the pull-off press, and this works your obliques too. It also does work your six pack. Another great exercise that I like to recommend for people is doing a standing cable pull down, okay? Because like I said, we want to replicate that we're standing all the time. That's when we're going to get the most benefits. So doing a standing cable crunch as opposed to doing a kneeling cable crunch is going to be more beneficial. Doing a standing pull-off press instead of a kneeling pull-off press is going to be more beneficial. Now you can't do a standing plank, but if you think about it, when you're going to push a weight overhead, you're pretty much in a standing plank. You're squeezing all your muscles nice and tight, and you're going to push it overhead. And also what I want to suggest for you guys too, don't just think about working the six pack. Like I said, you want to be working the oblique and also the lower back too. Another really good exercise I like is doing the dead hang and doing knee raises from a dead hang. So there's only, like, you don't need a whole bunch of different exercises to target different areas and to feel the burn. You only need a few. You need to do them with heavy weights some, and then with lighter repetitions the other. So with a standing cable crunch, you're able to use heavier weights. With a pull-off press, you're able to use heavier weights. But then with things like kneeling, laying down knee raises, it's going to be, with hanging knee raises, you can use it with higher repetitions, because you want that benefit of strength and hypertrophy, right? So some stuff is going to be really heavy, some stuff is going to be lighter and higher repetition. They're going to be the most beneficial things for you guys in order to get better results, especially for your abs. So number one, focus on the diet first more than anything. You need to reduce your body fat in order to see a six pack. Number two is to focus on your compound lifts to build a strong six pack, okay? Squats, deadlifts, bench, overhead press, bent over row, all those most beneficial things. Yes, the bench press does incorporate your abs if you do it properly. Then after that, you do want to do your direct ab training work. So your planks, your pull-off press, your standing cable crunches, your knee raises, that's 4 exercises, that's all you need. Do some strength work, do some higher repetition work, and that's what's going to get you a six pack at the end of the day. That's the video, guys. I hope it was informative. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you on the next one.